हीरा मंडी की औरतें नागिन होती है. Actually, for this, in Heeramandi, Sanjay first wanted that very typical English Angrez tone, and I keep on thinking of Lagan. You know, 10 guna Lagan. मेरा हिंदी शुद्ध नहीं है. It's very tutti frutti, वो अंग्रेज थोड़ा सा.
इतना तो शुद्ध है.
नहीं, I think वो बॉम्बे के लिए काफी है. When I go to Delhi, they're like इसका हिंदी थोड़ा ऐसे टपोरी जैसे ही है. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I think one take I even smacked her nose ring off, and I was like, I just held my breath because I thought it was her nose. And then she came up and she said, no, I'm fine. Hi, I'm Jason Shah and you're watching me on ETimes TV.
So here we are interviewing the Cartwright Sahab, aka Jason Shah. Hi Jason.
Hi.
Welcome to ETimes TV.
Thank you so much.
Right from Heeramandi to the office here. How is it?
It's amazing. It's a beautiful office. You're looking so nice today as well.
So, as we delve into the whole experience of, being a part of the show, tell me something about it, the grand set, how has that been? How was that experience to shoot?
I can definitely say when I came to set, it felt like I was not in Mumbai anymore. It's definitely a very large set. They've done a wonderful job. Yeah, you just kind of get taken out of the real world, and I felt it was quite easy for me to all of a sudden step into those boots, because most of the time you have to kind of imagine your space and create that in your mind. But with Sanjay, it's every detail, he's got every lamppost and every candle taken care of in the right position, so it was amazing.
So, as you rightly said, Sanjay Leela Bhansali puts into all the important details when it comes to the... Was there anything that you were picked up on कि अच्छे से करो या ये ऐसे नहीं जा रहा है?
He came to set one day, and I had just come back from Chennai. I was doing another film there, and he came and he looked at me. He said, "You become fat. You look better before." And I was actually a bit swollen because I was a bit puffy. I hadn't slept too much. But the thing is that he knows what he's looking at. He knows, the final product. So whether it's about you, whether it's about the set, I think it's, somebody may be like, oh, but that's body shaming or something ridiculous like that. I think any criticism, if taken with an open mind and, with a heart that understands that this is going to benefit you, I think it gives you space to mature. So I was like, okay, he said that. I was like, okay, all right, I'll go running tomorrow. And of course, there were small little things, just different things. Like he told me in the Indresh scene, I'll remember, he said, stop being so dramatic. So I was like, cool, all right. I think because of the way I was speaking and stuff like that, I had actually taken a little thing from Sound of Music over there, the way that I spoke in that. So yeah, you take it and with a pinch of salt and you keep going and you try and do better.
So as you rightly mentioned about the Indresh scene, it's the much talked about scene. I think everyone's asking about it. It had this whole message that came in that, now you really can and openly talk about bisexuality with it. You can really, focus on different aspects of sexuality with it. So tell me about it. How was that experience?
I've said it quite a few times. I was actually quite nervous. I was nervous coming to set because I was notified before that. They said, oh, you've got your bare body shot and this is what we're doing tomorrow. And I was actually nervous. I wasn't nervous in the fact that it's a Sanjay, film. So I know that it's not going to come out vulgar or anything like that. It's going to be aesthetically shot. But I've never been so up and personal with another man before. And he's older than me as well,
yes,
in age. So obviously you want to be you want to be able to get the best chemistry, and for it not to look like there's a fear, because Cartwright doesn't have a fear. You know, he's willing to go to any length, as we've seen, to get the job done. So I wanted the character to be strong. And it came off beautifully. We had a few minutes. He said, you know, take some time. So me and Indresh went and we sat in the vanity together. We, you know, just spoke about different things. We weren't even really speaking about the script in any way. And we were both kind of giggly and nervous. I mean, he himself has children, so it was something new for him. I think eventually when we came on set, we were just ready and we just said, let's go. And I think the one tweak that Sanjay gave me was, why don't you know, put your forehead on Indresh and kind of rock him a little bit. So I think when you're doing things that, you know, in that moment, it all of a sudden just adds a little texture and a little flavor to it. And I think it was quite good. It came off quite well. Yeah, it definitely is a growing subject around the world. I think you see it in Hollywood, it's really out there. In India, it's just, you know, little bits, but yeah, I think it's a very prevalent subject, relevant as well.
It's more like now that you've opened the conversation, people would talk more about it.
100%.
So what are your views on it? What is your personal
I personally am straight, so that's my view, and I don't think that'll ever change. People have preferences. People, you know, explore themselves in different ways, and that's, you know, I don't hold anything against anyone, you know. People have asked me, like, has anyone inappropriately behaved with you in that manner? And to be honest, no. I think people have respected me, and I have, you know, so many friends who, you know, have come out of the closet, and, you know, we've had great conversations, you know, very open. I'm very blunt in a lot of ways, so they like that about me, that, you know, I'm willing to talk about it. But yeah, it was cool. I think it hit it off, and I'm definitely getting a lot of attention from that side. So I was like, all right, you know, I'm being appreciated. I think it's still quite a suppressed subject in India in a lot of ways. It definitely is coming out, but yeah, I think it's quite, you know, a large community. So yeah, I think they have fun with it as well. So yeah. It is what it is.
So, you know, we come to you working with Sonakshi, you working with Manisha. I think all the actresses, you had a part with them. How was that experience? Because all of them have a very different style of, you know, giving their cuts, giving their lines. So did you have to adjust to all of them, or how did you go about it?
I actually, I had this like kind of, I can't say crush, but I've always thought Sonakshi shines. She's always had this glow, you know, everywhere I've seen her on, you know, any social media or anything like that, I'm always like, this girl has a glow about her. And I think she's extremely confident. I think that comes off in Fareedan. You know, there's a certain confidence that she has. And I remember the first time I sat with her, it was, you know, in the bedroom where I'm saying, Kutto ne kiya, you know, Malika Jaan barbaad hui. So I think I actually looked into her eyes at one spot, and I just forgot all my dialogues, and I was just sitting there, and she's looking at me like, this guy's, God knows where they got this actor from. And then I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot my lines. But I think she's a really nice person. I got stuck in one or two places because, you know, sometimes, you know, immediate changes of Hindi, you know, on set. Hindi still is a second language of mine. But she was so sweet. She would say, no, don't worry, take some time if you need like 10 minutes. She's always ready. She's, you know, she's very professional that way. I think everyone is. I think Hindi is pretty easy for everyone. Of course, there was the dialect person there, so there were changes that they made, you know, to everyone's Hindi. You know, no, don't say that, say kha, and you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's part and parcel of the whole process. You know, some people forget a line, some people change the line, you know, and then they're like, no, ma'am, you're supposed to say this. So then, and I used to get lost, you know, क्योंकि मेरा हिंदी शुद्ध नहीं है. It's very tutti frutti, वो अंग्रेज थोड़ा सा.
इतना तो शुद्ध है.
नहीं, I think वो बॉम्बे के लिए काफी है. When I go to Delhi, they're like इसका हिंदी थोड़ा ऐसे टपोरी जैसे ही है. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, you know. But yeah, it was a great experience. I learned so much about film itself, you know, camera, how it works. So. I got a lot of, I would say, schooling in a way. Actually, for this, in Heeramandi, Sanjay first wanted that very typical English Angrez tone, and I keep on thinking of Lagan, you know, Das Guna Lagan. But then what happens when you do that is your words get very stretched.
Right.
And it sounds like you're purposely speaking slow, but that's because it's so accented. So I did that, and then I think after the first day he was like, नहीं भाई, उसको बात करने दो जैसे वो करता है. Just try here and there. So like even with Fareedan, I say todo, you know, something like. So
yes.
You put that little bit of an accent. Obviously, मैं ऐसे नहीं बोलूँगा कि हाँ तो दे दे. You know, you change it a bit to give it that little English curve, but. If need be, I can always go more Hindi, more, you know, more Indian, go towards more English. But yeah.
So, you know, you had this whole scene where she comes to you to save Tajdar.
Yes.
And it's just blown, like everyone has been talking about it. So tell me about that whole scene. How was it? How did things happen behind the scenes between y'all?
It was a really good scene, really tough for Tajdar, for sure. God bless Taha for that. Hanging upside down is not easy, you know, and giving all those reactions again and again. So it was quite amazing to watch him also, you know, and he did it quite effortlessly, so that was nice. Sonakshi, as always, super professional. She was actually pushing everyone that day, I'll remember. She was like, are we working today? And I love that, you know, when my actress that I'm working with is, you know, work-orientated. No tantrums, nothing like that. And that's Sonakshi, I think, all over. She's just like that. And then it came to the scene, and actually the scene starts where I actually hold her face. I think it was cut, it was edited. But I kind of held her with like 2 fingers because I was like, I don't want to like, you know, hurt her or something like that. And she was like, no, like hold my face. So I was like, okay, well done. You know, she's that kind of a person. She's very into the process, very into the craft. You know, she's willing to, you know, cross that boundary, which I thought was quite cool of an actress, because obviously women are a little bit more, you know, careful about their faces and stuff like that. I mean, I am, so I know. But she's always just like, she's got her own charm, and she's always, I would say, very encouraging. She's a very encouraging person to work with.
So if you were to recreate one of the dialogues, which one would be?
I think I would have put dialogues a little bit for Cartwright in a way that you would have kept the crowd in a little bit of suspense. I felt Cartwright's character in some places was quite dry with the words that he was using. You know, like a little play like Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, who's gonna, you know, catch the tiger by the toe. Have the audience be like, who's he talking about? Who's the Meeny, who's the Miny, who's the Mo? You know what I mean? Whereas Cartwright is very, okay, I've come to do, you know, my work at A, we're gonna shoot B, I'm gonna kill him at C, and we'll hopefully, you know, get to the room at D. It's very explained already, as where I felt it could have been a little bit more playful. But again, I'm not the director. Yeah.
No, but indeed, I think Malika Jan's part when she comes to the police station could have had suspense.
Yes.
A little more of ab kya hoga.
Yeah. instead of explaining it already, because then you're kind of already, running through it. But I love that scene. That was intense and
How was it working with her?
great. She's very quiet. And I think that's part of her process, and I respected that. As before we were chatting, and I said I'm very chatty. I can, chat to a pole if need be. But she's not. She comes in, she does her work, and I think that's great. That's her process. That's who she is. So I respected that. I don't even think we even said good morning or hello. She's very sits alone and that's cool. That's cool. Every actor is different. So in the beginning, I was like, ye kyun hua? Because I'm so friendly. I want everyone to be, friendly and happy on set. And after a couple of days, I was like, nahi, theek hai, usko rehne do, usko kaam karne do. And you have to respect them. Obviously, she's, a senior to me. She's a senior actress as well. And even in the slapping part, the fight master was like, do it like this. And I was like, see, the thing is if I do it like that and her face doesn't turn in time, I'll end up hitting her. So I was a bit worried about that as well. I think one take, I even smacked her nose ring off. And I was like, I just held my breath because I thought it was her nose. And then she came up and she said, no, I'm fine. So that was, that was as close as Cartwright.
But you did have a lot of violent scenes where you were smashing people.
All the women.
Do you think that the project has made you feel that you've arrived in this whole industry now? Or kya hai?
Kya hai? I don't think you ever arrive. I think you ask any artist, I think there's a line, I don't know who said it, but you're only as good as your last job. So I hope I'm on to the next. There are, some things already that I finished, some other projects coming out. So that's going to be interesting. One is for Dharma. Not anything as, as advanced as what I did here. And this is good because I think there was a lot of scope, and it gave people a lot of time to really see, as you said, there's a real arc in this. I was given the opportunity, obviously, to work with so many heroines, which is amazing, which I haven't before. Aditi, Sonakshi, Manisha ma'am, Alam, Sharmin. So that was good. That was really nice. And obviously the actors were great. Ujjwal sir is fantastic. Ustad ji, we can't forget. So I think from the feedback that I've gotten is like, you're always this bad guy. It's this very one line. Now we've been able to see more of who Jason can be.
Yeah.
And he has the capability to dive into a character. So I think, and again, I hope that, things change from here.
A lot of people even mentioned, I've read comments where they said that you had a better Urdu accent in comparison to the actresses in the series.
That's a real compliment.
That actually needs a lot of homework when you're really working on something like this, especially when people are focusing on what the character's carve is.
Correct.
How the character is supposed to be perceived. And somewhere the show did get a lot of mixed reactions. Say, some mentioned that Heeramandi doesn't look like Heeramandi.
Heeramandi, correct.
So, when you were on the set, what did you feel about the whole experience of, being Cartwright, using those Urdu words in your dialogues?
To be honest, I've never been to Heeramandi, so I wouldn't know, and I can't, comment on that. But as I said, he created his own world. And whether it's pin drop to the point, I think, especially in this world that we live in, there are 10 people that want to say 10 different things, and you can't please everyone all of the time. So decide what's your way and do what's best, I think, And your way is the way that you see it, especially as a director. And producers, you've got to understand, okay, this is what we want, and work the best in that space, regardless of who's telling you, You know, this is not supposed to be cast this person. No, I mean, that's just the way that, you know, life runs at this moment. When I came on set, I definitely felt completely out, as I told you, you know, out of Mumbai. I think I fell into the character somewhat. After a while, I felt like it was mine. Because Cartwright it's all under him. He's the superintendent of there. So I think my confidence kept building. You know, every time I started walking into the rooms, I started to feel like, okay, this could have been my office. You know, this is somewhere where I, you know, bash this guy's head in, you know, and I think other actors also started to feel it, you know, that who is he? He's really like, he's dictating terms, you know, in some sense. And then obviously that helps the character. So I started to feel a lot at ease over an amount of time. And obviously your working relationship with all the directors, you start to, you know, build that relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how was your first day on the shoot?
My first day was actually quite, it was hot. It was really hot. I almost fainted. Yeah, it's the one where I come in and I say I'm a superintendent of police with Malika Jan. And it was so hot. I sat down at one point and I was like, just give me some lemon juice or something. I was through and through, I was soaked. And then you've got those Rexine boots on. The whole set is covered. You know, it's completely wrapped up inside. And so many lights. And obviously I've got a few layers on with that jacket on top. I'm used to it. I'm quite used to it now, wearing these, I call them, where's my blanket? Because it feels like that. So it was quite intense in that sense. It was a nice warm-up because I didn't have too much dialogue or something like that. It was a nice scene. First time, you know, seeing Manisha ma'am as well. You know, she was just sitting there and they were putting each petal inside of her hair. No, that doesn't go there. Put it a little 1 inch to the right. So then I was like, okay, this is like, when you're talking about details and perfection, there's a lot going in this. But yeah, I was still taking it all in, you know, in a sense of who I am, and that build-up was there. Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice first day. Pretty calm in that way.
Though Cartwright has ended his whole stint with the first season itself, but if you were to be back in the next season, what changes would you make out of your character?
Bring Cartwright back, come on. I think dialogue for me. I think definitely dialogue. I would work on that with the team. I would love to come back to life. But yeah, I think dialogue, a little more interesting, a little more flavor, you know, choice of words, you know, a little bit. Make it that Cartwright's also, you know, educated himself a little bit in some way. I would probably fall a little bit deeper, maybe into, you know, not to go over the top, but to maybe bring a little bit more intensity, and then also, I think a little more charm. I think I missed out on that. I think I could have been a bit more charming with Fareedan. But obviously I'm working with whatever the directors want at the end of the day. And I asked Sanjay sir, I said, do I like these Tawafs? And he looked at me and he said, what do you think? And I said, well, after some time, you build a relationship, right? You're continuously meeting a woman. And he said, no, you don't like them. So I was like, okay. You know, so I felt, and it came off on screen exactly how that was put. So I hope that he liked it. Because I could feel it when I was watching. I could feel that I had kept that distance, especially with me and Fareedan, which I could have made slightly more charming, you know, given a little bit more of a love angle. So I think in every, you could say on every pillar or post, I would, you know, do something different, go a little deeper. That was
literally my next question. That would Fareedan and Cartwright have a story?
I hope so. Maybe a kid. No. Do something different.
Yeah, it would be a nice change for the story as well. Because
have Junior Cartwright, come walking in with a stick. No, but yeah, wherever writers, I'm quite friendly with Moin Beg, and he's done a brilliant job. I know this has been a tough one for him because he was waiting for a long time to do this, and that takes perseverance. It takes endurance. So I think that's an amazing thing about him. And I told him, I was actually with him last night. I said, raise Cartwright from the dead, bring him back.